What's up guys, Austin here from Airsoft Station, and today we're reviewing the ICS CXP-APE. Now this gun comes right out of the box with their signature split gearbox. The removal of one pin in the upper receiver here, simply by removing that one pin, you have easy access to the upper half of your split gearbox as well as your barrel. Now, the upper half of your gearbox has all of your compression items, such as your spring guide, your piston, your cylinder, your piston head, nozzle, things like that. Everything that kind of makes the air pressure in your gun is going to be housed right in there. And then all of your actual gears are going to be left in the lower receiver down here in the lower half of the split gearbox. This makes changing your FPS or making sure you have good compression and consistency so much easier, because you don't have to be worrying about the whole gearbox as a whole. I promise you it's even easier than twice as easy to work on a split gearbox than it is a standard version 2 gearbox. Now, with that being said, that's pretty much the only thing that's the same about this gun as previous ICS models. This is brand new to the airsoft market, and they have added a lot of really cool features. We're going to just probably start in the front and move backwards. Starting in the front here, you can see they have a nice flip-up front sight. It's integrated into the top rail here. This is a one-piece top rail. It looks very sleek. I like the look of that one-piece top rail. It just helps all of the gun to mesh really well. That integrated flip-up full metal front sight here, notice that it flips up from the front so that if you were running through brush or something like that, it wouldn't fold it down. On a lot of guns, they flip up from the back, and when you push it against brush, it folds it down. Very annoying. This one pushes up from the front. The rear sight here is pretty nice and stiff too. It does fold up from the back, but it's a very stiff rear sight. Also, plenty of space for optics. I mean, you could put like 2 or 3 red dots on here if you wanted, just for the simple fact that this top rail is so very long. Also, you'll notice something unique here. This is a Keymod rail system. This is very lightweight. This gun is extremely well balanced. As you can see, the weight's definitely in the back here because the Keymod system really helps keep it lightweight. Out of the box, you are included with 3 Keymod systems though, so if you wanted to put a grip, flashlight, laser, something like that, whatever it is that fits your fancy, you'd be able to do that because you do have those Keymod sections included. Something that I think is really cool, we'll get to this once we get down into the controls of the gun, but this gun is extremely ambidextrous, even to the point of your charging handle. So for me, I am a righty, so for me that charging handle's in the right place. It's going to open up that bolt catch, I'd be able to adjust my hop up, and then I'd hit, the dust cover here, and then I'd be able to hit my bolt catch, close it all up. That's got a nice metal ting, you'll hear that. Very high quality parts in there. But if you were a lefty, even if you had your fire selector switch ambidextrous and your magazine drop ambidextrous, you'd still be reaching across the gun to get that charging handle. Well, you won't be, because this charging handle is actually with a simple firm tug able to be removed, swung right around to this side, and with a firm push in, pushed in over there. So now your gun is truly a lefty gun, even to the point of your charging handle. ICS really has sort of thought of everything. The fact that that works, it's going to stay in very well. You know, you don't have to worry about it falling out or something like that over time. It's very stiff, but you know, a good tug on it, you're able to pull that out, flip it around here, and decide whether you want to be a righty or a lefty that day. Now, I know I mentioned this before, but you do have a fully functional bolt catch. By pulling back on the charging handle, you can see that it exposes a drum-style hop-up. In my opinion, these are the superior versions of hop-ups. They just hold their hop a lot better rather than slowly backing out like oftentimes the standard M4 or M16 hop-up system does. And then right down here on the, right where the trigger meets the mag well, you simply push down, and you hear that beautiful cling. High quality parts in there, you can definitely tell. It sounds so great. Anyway, from there we move to the controls of the gun. The controls of the gun are fully ambidextrous. Your fire selector switch ambidextrous, as well as your magazine release. You have the standard righty magazine release. You also have the standard lefty magazine release. But then there's actually a third mag release right here on the left side of the gun. right on the actual magazine well itself, there is a spot for you to push up with your thumb. So as you're reaching for your magazine, you simply push up with your thumb there and it will release the magazine. Now, it's a little bit different, but surprisingly, there's no learning curve whatsoever. I was able to just pick this gun up and you can reload with it extremely quickly, and you can, Airsoft no-no number 1 right here. I'm going to keep my finger on the trigger, reach up, drop the magazine, put a new one in. You can see finger never has to leave the trigger. So if you're firing, simply drop the magazine, grab a new one, you're ready to go, and you just, it works very smoothly. I think that should be on all guns. I want that on my gun. That little magazine well, I don't know what the official name is, but I'm going to just grant it the name magazine well, magazine release. Anyway, moving on from there, the stock is positionable in 3 ways. You have the length here. It's a 6-position adjustable stock here. You have your cheek riser here. I think this is, 5-position. So you can just, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up or all the way down, just like that. And on top of those, the stock is foldable. Now, something to note is on any folding stock gun I've ever had, when you do fold the stock, all of the weight suddenly moves forward, and it's very hard to hold in one hand because all of the weight wants to go forward. But in this one, all of the weight is centered right over your pistol grip, so it's very easy to one hand. You could hold this all day long if you wanted to, mess around with magazines or do whatever you were doing. Whatever you need another hand for, it's actually very comfortable to hold, just like this. One thing else to note is the wire here to your battery from your gearbox is very low profile, out of the way. I don't see that getting caught or snagged on anything if you were to leave the stock folded. Overall, this gun just has a lot of cool features. Let's go take it over to the range though. It does shoot a little bit hot, but keep in mind, it's pretty easy to change that spring out. So if you are playing on a field which has FPS limits, it's extremely easy to just throw a slightly lighter spring in there. The one that they come with is an M120, and when we were chronoing it, it was shooting anywhere from like 410 to 420. So if you were to throw an M110 in there, have great compression, you're probably looking at like 380 to 390-ish, which would be perfect for fields. Alright, some final thoughts about this gun before we end the review is when I'm working storefront over here at Airsoft Station, I get a lot of guys coming in who say, hey, I used to own an M4, I've got a bunch of M4 megs left over, I want something that uses an M4, or all my teammates run M4 megs and I want to be able to bum megs off of them, or something like that. But I don't want a plain old M4, or oh, I want to be different, I want to be unique, something like that. I think this is the solution to that dilemma. This is very different. It's very unique. However, it's sleek, it's still cool, and it's a great performing gun. However, it uses that M4 meg, which I think when you combine all those together, it's rare to find that. Something that's different, something that's unique. However, packs a great punch and uses an M4 meg. I think it's kind of unique to see that, and I'm kind of going off on a little tangent here, but I think the CXP-APE by ICS is really going to kind of start, I think we're going to see more guns like this coming out. I think they're going to sort of set the new mold for airsoft guns kind of being unique, being different, because let's be honest, airsoft is kind of a fashion statement. Everyone wants to be a little bit different. Everyone wants, something cool and unique about their gun. So that's kind of just a tangent, but anyway, I think just having that is a great feature in itself, on top of all of these cool, unique features that I mentioned previously. I mean, there were some things I didn't even go into, like this gun actually has a quick change barrel, so if you wanted to, change the length of your barrel or something like that, ICS is going to be coming out with variations of lengths for their barrels. I mean, this gun's going to be extremely customizable. There's just a lot of great features about this gun. Performs well, uses that M4 meg, but is, above all else, it's different, it's unique. So, that's about it for this video, guys. But until the next one, have a good one, guys.